Good afternoon, this is Michael again. I feel that this video is important because it is reaction to my recent conversation with one of our clients, specifically talking about the graduate visa 485 and the required qualification. There seems to be still a lot of confusion about what the current rules are and what qualification can be used in order to successfully apply for 485. The client completed Certificate 3 in bricklaying, which is a trade qualification. The course lasted 52 weeks, which is 1 year. That itself still does not meet the requirements of graduate visa 485 because the study rule says that you have to be studying for 2 years or 92 weeks Cracos registered course or courses. So you can combine 2 courses together, no problem. Then the student was advised to study Certificate 4 in Building and Construction for another year, right? Logically, you would say, well, he completed Certificate 3 1 year, he completed Certificate 4 1 year, now he is eligible, or theoretically, for graduate visa. Unfortunately, he is not, and I explain to you why. There's a multiple rules which needs to be met at the same time, and one of the rules is that you have to apply within 6 months from the date you completed eligible qualification. So a lot of the 485 refusals is because people applied using qualifications which are not eligible and do not meet the requirements of 485 grant. What are the eligible qualifications? Number 1, trade qualifications. Number 2, diploma or higher qualifications or university degrees. Well, Certificate 4 in Building and Construction is not a trade. It's all theory in a classroom. It's not a diploma level because it's a Certificate 4. It's one qualification level below diploma level. And it's definitely not a degree. So in this particular case, if the student applies for graduate visa 485, he would eventually fail simply because it's not an eligible qualification. What happens if the visa is refused, as it will be? Well, the student can appeal to the Administrative Appeal Tribunal. However, given the recent changes of the processes of the AAT, this refusal is an objective matter, which means it's going to be fast-tracked by the AAT. Why is it objective? Because it's only dealing with the fact that the applicant applied within a qualification which is not eligible. So this is not a question of arguing whether the Certificate 4 in Building and Construction is in somewhat related with the bricklaying course, which is easy to argue. Yes, it is related. However, this question is about the qualification level. What should the student do? And we're still obviously engaged because, as you probably know, we have a large international education agency where we enrolling many students to fulfill their dreams in Australia and eventually obtain residency. So we have advised the student to take one of 2 options. Either Certificate 4 in bricklaying, because that's a trade. The problem is there's no course such. Certificate 4 in bricklaying does not exist, it's not registered. So that option is not available. Or second option, Diploma of Building and Construction. And that will work because not only he completed Certificate 3 in bricklaying, but he also completed diploma level, which is related and relevant to the trade course. Hence he or she, well in this particular case he, will be eligible for 485 after completion of the diploma level. I'm going to go a little bit further to explain the consequences of applying for graduate visa using that Certificate 4. The current processing time for 485 is quite long. We're looking realistically about 12 months plus. So we'll look at a case where a student applied for Certificate 4, obtains bridging visa A, and will continue working full-time as a bricklayer. That's perfectly fine. In 12 months' time, the department will come back and most likely refuse the application. And then what? The client will try to appeal the decision. That's okay. But once a person obtains a visa refusal in Australia, Section 48 will be activated. That means that this particular person, unless he wins at the appeal, cannot apply for any other visa or very small number of visas. Even though he may be eligible for sponsorship 482, which a person can apply while being holder of a bridging visa A, the section 48 will limit him to apply because that will block the person. In other words, this particular person with the certificate 4 will go home.